Today we're talking about a truth that makes some of us squirm a little bit, because if you're anything like me, you kind of want people to like you. This is pretty fundamental. However, when it comes to leadership, you need to get over it. Not everyone is going to like you. And if you're doing a good job, they're probably not going to like you. Don't get me wrong, this isn't about being mean or unintentionally difficult. It's about a fundamental shift that I believe every leader needs to make. If you've watched my previous video on the too nice leader trap, this is the next crucial layer. Because while you might want to be universally liked, chasing that level of popularity as a leader is probably going to kill your impact. The reality is, you're going to have to make tough decisions. Tough decisions are tough generally because they disappoint some people, they challenge people, or they're simply not popular and not wanted. And if your primary driver is to be liked, you're going to tend to shy away from those difficult conversations or moments. So how do you navigate this? It's helpful to understand the why. Why do people want to be liked? You may think that you already know this, and that's fine. You can skip this bit. But there is a crucial difference between being liked and being respected. And today we're going to talk about how to lead effectively even when you're not going to please everyone. Wanting to be liked, even as leaders, is fundamentally human. We crave approval, we want harmonious environments. Many of us are naturally inclined to want to avoid conflict and kind of please everybody. In a leadership role, this can manifest as avoiding tough conversations, making exceptions, or constantly saying yes to keep everybody happy. The fear of conflict is another one. Difficult conversations, being honest with your team, giving them a critique or feedback that is kind of hard to hear, can bring a lot of discomfort. It might feel easier in the short term to sidestep these situations, but it definitely creates big problems down the road. And sometimes new leaders confuse being effective with being liked. They may think that a happy team is always an effective team, regardless of the standards or the outcomes. I've definitely wrestled with this. I remember early in my career, I had to implement a new process that was so unpopular. I explained the why, I showed them the data, but there was no changing the fact that they did not want this to occur. I felt in myself that internal pull to kind of pull back a bit, smooth it over, make them like me again. I even found myself over-explaining and apologising for the change, even though I fundamentally believed it was the right decision. Just because you know it's the right decision and it's the best for the organisation doesn't necessarily make it any easier. I had a choice: suck it up and get it done despite the negative feedback I was getting, or have someone else do it over top of me, which was probably going to be my boss, which would in turn effectively make me lose credibility as a leader and probably damage future career opportunities if my boss had to do my job for me. Now deep down I knew this was right, even though it was maybe not the best for my team in terms of their own perspective. It was going to mean that it was going to slow them down a little bit, so they were going to take more time initially to do the job. But from a business perspective, it was more client-centric and involved less risk, particularly around the quality of work that we were generating. The client experience and the reduction of risk had to be the priority, and it was my responsibility to implement this successfully with my team. I had to stop letting my self-doubt and my desire to be liked take over what was effectively a very clear decision. And I needed to work with my team to start convincing them that this was actually the right thing to do. And even if they never believed me or got on board, that how to make them understand it and effectively execute it regardless. There is a distinct difference between being liked and being respected. Being liked is a preference. Being respected is necessary for effective leadership. Being liked often stems from pleasant interactions, agreeableness, or a shared sense of camaraderie. It's good to have, but it can't be the foundation of your authority. You can't be great at your role just because everyone likes you. You might be liked, but your team might not take your decisions seriously if you can kind of bend to pressure. Being respected is earned through your actions, consistency, fairness, competence, and unfortunately, your ability to make tough, considered decisions that you follow through with. When you're respected, your team trusts your judgment, even if they disagree with a decision. Who would you rather follow in a challenging situation? Someone who makes you feel comfortable, or someone who you know is going to do the right thing for everyone's long-term benefit? So how do you make these tough, unpopular decisions while still maintaining respect? Firstly, you lead with transparency where possible. Explain why a decision is being made. You don't need to over-justify it, but providing context helps people understand and rationalise why something is happening, even if they don't agree with the outcome. So this decision was made because of this, and here's the impact or outcome that we expect. Then just stop talking. Over-explaining can sound a lot like defensiveness, particularly if it's unpopular. Focus on fairness, not favouritism. Ensure that your decisions are based on objective criteria, company goals, or what is best for the team or the organisation, not personal feelings and who you like more. This means applying a consistent application of rules and policies and how you deal with decisions. There's always going to be people who you understand better, who are like-minded, you get along with quite easily. So try and have an awareness for yourself about who these people are and what's going on for you with the other people that means that you're not as connected. And I would try and build that relationship with those people that perhaps you find it a little bit more difficult to align with. It's often those with a different perspective that, if you can take it on board, can make us better leaders. If you know that favouritism is something that overshadows your own responses to your team, make sure you check out the video linked on your screen for how to manage this within your team. Listen actively before deciding. Solicit input and take on feedback before the final decision is made. Now, there will always be occasions where you just are making that decision or the organisation is making that decision, in which case you manage it the best way that you can. But if you are making the decision and you have control over it, value your team's perspectives. It's important to actively listen to what they're saying. If you're asking for their feedback, don't just treat it like a tick box exercise. Make sure that you actually hear what they're saying. Often the best ideas come from the team that are doing the work. So don't dismiss it, as they'll immediately see through this and you'll become known as someone who, oh yeah, they'll ask us our opinion, but then they'll completely ignore it. Don't ask for it if you're not going to hear it. Communicate with clarity and conviction. Once a decision is made, communicate it clearly. Don't waffle, stand firm, stand behind the decision that you've made, and understand that not everyone is going to be happy. Expect some criticism or dissent. Respond calmly and professionally, reaffirming the decision's basis without defensiveness. I understand this is not ideal for everyone, but this is the stance that we're taking, and this is why we're taking it. Now, you're gonna get the criticism, so you want to be able to handle it in a way that isn't going to create a big problem for you. My recommendation is that you don't take it personally. Remind yourself that they might not agree with the decision, but it's not that they don't agree with you as a person. It's not about you. Separate the policy from the personality. This is pretty important in leadership. If you want to rise above the times where people disagree with you, don't like you, whatever, question your leadership, it's important to be able to step back and think, okay, they're not my friends, they're not my family, they are my team, and I need to just be a professional, have good boundaries, and accept criticism for what it is, nothing to do with you personally, so that then you can handle it with respect and professionalism in a calm way. And if it is about you personally, and it is disrespectful, there's a whole nother video on how to deal with that. You can validate people's feelings and still hold the line. I hear you're frustrated. I know it's disappointing. But don't waver on that decision if it's firm. Once you've heard their concerns, pivot the conversation. Given this is our direction, what do you think the next steps are? Or, these are the next steps we're going to take. How are you going to support with this? How can we make this work best? Your role is to lead, not absorb everybody else's reactions and emotions. Make sure that you process your own frustrations, your own feelings about whatever it is, including your reactions to what people are responding with people that you trust, that are your peers, outside friends, whatever, a mentor. Don't process them with the team. If you can embrace the truth that not everyone's going to like you and you're going to be okay with that, it really does shift your leadership. You can become more decisive. The fear of being disliked doesn't paralyze you in your decision making. It also helps your team. It's easier to set expectations. They know where they stand with you. And ideally, you earn true respect. Your team can then see that you're a leader who prioritizes doing what is the right thing and following through on your decisions. You're still going to have those moments where you wish everybody was cheering, or you do something that you know is just so damn good for the organisation, and yet all you can hear is grizzles and complaints. You think, what is wrong with you guys? This is great. This is definitely going to improve our performance. It'll come with time. Not everyone is going to see it immediately, and maybe they won't ever see it. There's usually one or two in the team that will always hold a grudge for some decision that you've made. You have to be able to rise above. If this video has helped you, make sure you subscribe and check out the video linked on your screen. And thanks very much for watching.